Welcome to D Platoon, officer. Formed in 1967, the Special Weapons and Tactics Team of the Los Angeles Police Department has held a preeminence within the field of law enforcement and has been the standard bearer for domestic specialized tactical units throughout the world. We are an organization steeped in tradition and pride, where individuals are frequently called upon to perform at levels far above the norm. There have been and ever will be certain guiding principles that have provided the foundation for the high level of professionalism exemplified by this organization and its members. Commit them to memory. Welcome to D Platoon, officer. I'm Sergeant Rooker. While you're assigned to D Platoon, I'll be your supervisor. Your new position here is that of an assaulter. This is Officer Packmeyer, and he's your element leader. For the record, Officer Packmeyer has been an element leader in D Platoon for 8 years. He's a wealth of information, officer. Learn from him.
Thank you, Sergeant. Hello.
Officer, I'd like you to give some thought to what I'm about to say. You are now one of 60 tactical officers within D Platoon. We constitute less than 1% of the entire Los Angeles police force. Your selection and admittance to this platoon is something to be proud of and respected. As a member of SWAT, you are responsible to meet the requirements of specific tactical criteria and will be tested regularly. Anytime you should fail to meet these requirements, you will be encouraged to train up. Remember, your level of physical fitness, your firearm proficiency, and your understanding of tactics affects the entire team, and the team concept is what we're all about here. There's no hot shots, no loose cannons. We train as one, we work as one, and we resolve conflicts as one. Do you understand, officer? There's no room for grandstanding. Lives are on the line. The lives of police officers, your fellow teammates, innocent citizens, and yes, even suspects. Lest you should forget, officer, D Platoon is a life-saving organization. We adhere to the rules and regulations of the Los Angeles Police Department and to the laws of the United States of America. And while you're a member of SWAT, you will remember to live up to our standards, regulations, and laws. You will behave as a gentleman, an officer, and if necessary, a gunfighter. Officer Packmeyer now has a few things to say to you as well. Officer Packmeyer?
As Sergeant said, we're a team here. For us, trust is more than a word. It's a way of life, a vow we make to one another. When called upon in a crisis, I trust you will do your job. I trust you will have honed your skills and will be prepared. I trust you will be brave, but not foolish. I trust that when I give an order, you will follow it. I trust that when you tell me you can accomplish something, you will. Around here, we're cross-trained. Some of us are lead climbers and assaulters. Others are negotiators and assaulters. You're entering D Platoon as an assaulter. We have a sniper position open. So if you're interested, I suggest you train up and then let me or Sergeant know you'd like a shot at the position. Sir?
Thank you, Officer Packmeyer. Officer, I suggest you become familiar with your new surroundings and your newly issued weapons. I also encourage you to review the educational material the department has made available. We have a training detail later at the Academy Range. Be there. Until then, get settled and learn what you can.
Colt .45 caliber 1911 government model sidearm.
Heads up, gentlemen. We have a new member in the element. Until formal introductions can be made, you may refer to him as the SWAT pup. Welcome aboard, officer. I'm 30 David, Sergeant Paulden. We were just about to do a few drills with the MP5. Step up to alley 13, 7-yard line and join us.
Yes, sir.
Officers with your MP5s, make ready. Officers, come to your guard. 2 shots to center mass, semi-auto. 2 shots to center mass, semi-auto. On the whistle. On guard. Officers, come to your guard. Failure drill. 2 shots to the body, 1 to the head. Semi-auto. 2 to the body, single to the head. Semi-auto. On the whistle. On guard. Officers, come to your guard. Single to the head, semi-auto. Single to the head, semi-auto. On the whistle. On guard. Officers, come to your guard. 2 shots to center mass, semi-auto. 2 shots to center mass, semi-auto. On the whistle. On guard. Officers, come to your guard. Failure drill. 2 shots to the body, 1 to the head. Semi-auto. 2 to the body, single to the head. Semi-auto. On the whistle. On guard. Officers, come to your guard. Failure drill. 2 shots to the body, 1 to the head. Semi-auto. 2 to the body, single to the head. Semi-auto. On the whistle. On guard. Put him on safe and let him hang.
We'll get started when everyone's here, which would appear to be now. Everyone, your attention please. Settle down and we can get started. Today we want to discuss use of force issues, cover the differences between stealth and dynamic entries, and review tactical communication techniques. Are we clear, or are there any questions?
Sir, I haven't been on a call-up before. What should I expect?
First, each call-up we answer is unique to the situation at hand. No 2 encounters will ever be exactly alike. However, each situation will share certain characteristics: the negotiation process, tactical plan formation, scouting the area for possible approach routes, interviewing victims, neighbors, and witnesses. Structures will share features such as entry ports, single or multiple levels. What we cannot plan for is how any suspect will behave. Remember 2 things. It is the suspect who determines the outcome of any given situation, and there is never just one way to resolve a crisis. So, how can we truly be prepared? Well, for one thing, we can train using proven tactics and procedures. Any questions so far?
Sergeant Rooker, what type of situation does D Platoon normally encounter?
Over 60% of all our call-ups are barricaded suspects. Out of that, approximately 80% of the barricaded suspects will be a domestic barricade of a single male. Soured robberies, hostage taking, and multiple barricaded suspects make up the remaining 20%. Now, anytime you have one or multiple barricaded suspects, time is on your side. Negotiation is key. Time becomes crucial when hostages are involved or the threat to innocent citizens is imminent. If negotiations break down, or if the life of an innocent citizen or police officer is in jeopardy during a barricaded situation, we must be prepared to initiate a tactical plan to enter the structure. Entering a structure can be one of the most hazardous times during an assault. You want to plan for high ground cover, and you want to enter the structure to your advantage. Now, to do this, we always scout the area for an approach route. We also determine what type of entry we'd prefer to make, whether that would be a dynamic entry or a stealth entry. Dynamic entries are fast and are characterized by the use of diversionary devices and techniques. The entry team can be assisted by one or more gas teams. Flashbangs are used at the point of entry to disorient a suspect or as a diversionary tool at separate entry ports. Stealth entries are referred to as soft probes. They're characterized by slow, cautious movement. The first person on the entry team is the scout. The scout is armed with a 180-degree mirror and a .45. The mirror provides a reverse image of the room you're about to enter. The door jamb will give you your point of reference. Remember, the proper way to mirror a door is to first mirror low and then mirror high. You mirror low first because the suspect in the next room is generally not looking at floor level. He's generally looking at his eye level. The scout will inform the rest of the entry team of what to expect. Door right, closet left. This information is relayed via your LASH radio unit. The scout is covered by the second man on the entry team, the rear guard. The rear guard carries a shotgun. The shotgun will be loaded with buckshot unless a door or a car needs to be breached. At such times, the shotgun is loaded with 1-ounce 12-gauge slugs. Now, next up behind the rear guard is your element leader. Your element leader should be an assaulter's main focus. You do as he instructs. If your element leader tells you to cover a door, you cover that door. You do not second guess your element leader. The scout, rear guard, and element leader will continue to soft probe the environment, placing trailers where needed. Remember, survey threat areas, determine what needs to be covered, clear rooms in a circular or L patterns. Questions?
Are there certain room entry techniques we should employ?
Whether you enter a room under a dynamic or a stealth mode, you want to remember to invoke certain practices. Always slice the pie on a door or a room. In other words, don't rush straight into any room. If you do, you're rushing head-on into trouble. By slicing the pie, you're angling your position to first see what the room contains, then roll out if necessary. Rolling out or leaning without exposing any more of your body than you need to see further into a room is a life-saving tactic. It's not a formality. Next, if the person ahead of you enters a room and moves to the right, then you enter to the left. If you follow their path into a room, you will be in their field of fire. Lastly, if a suspect sees you on a room entry before the entry team is ready to make an arrest, or if a sniper misses his shot, the mission is compromised. Alert others of the compromise by broadcasting the word compromised. Any questions?
Yeah, is there a specific set of codes we should use, like the APCO code or radio call letters for communicating during a call-up?
Communication is key to our success as a team. Consequently, agreed-upon terminology exists in this organization, and I expect all of you to understand and utilize this terminology. When observing and relaying information concerning a structure, you will refer to it by numbers, not geographical designations. The front of the building is always side 1. Moving clockwise, the numbers increase, 2, 3, 4, etc. Corners are referred to by their intersecting sides. In the example I have here, you can see the bottom left corner is referred to as the 1-2 corner. So remember, the front of the building is always side 1, and you move clockwise and number accordingly. Now here we have a 4-story building. The concept of numbering still applies. Numbers are assigned to all openings and all levels. Each opening is numbered, beginning from the left to the right, bottom to the top. Each level is numbered from the bottom up. Consequently, looking at the example here, the door would be referred to as level 1, opening 2. If you have suspect information to relay, you will do so by using this technique. Is that clear?
What about communication between different teams or between teams and brass?
During a tactical operation, we communicate 2 ways, through lash radio headsets and hand signals. The lash radio headset functions by capturing the vibrations from your throat. You're going to want to whisper when using the lash. Anything louder than a whisper will cause distortion and jeopardize our communication. Verbal communication should be kept brief, lest a suspect hears you. If you need a trailer to enter a room and cover a cleared area, you need only say, "Trailer, cover window," nothing more. The trailer will come to you and set up on the window. If you're sniper team number 1 and you've arrived at your position, the simple sentence, "High ground 1 in position," will do. Us brass will know what you're up to. The other method of communication that we utilize is from the military, and it's used internationally. It's the use of hand signals. Now these are basic, but for those of you needing a refresher course, a raised fist means hold. Do not move. Moving your hand horizontally over your head means cover. A raised fist moved in an up and down motion means hurry up. A hand with spread fingers indicates suspect. The direction you point indicates where the suspect is. If you need someone's attention, snap your fingers. Or if you see or hear snapping, someone wants your attention. And when someone has your attention, if they point to their eyes and then to a door, they want you to look at the door or in the direction of the door. If you see a thumbs up, you know an area is clear and it's safe to enter. If you see a flat hand, do not continue with your action or movement. Stop. All very basic hand movements, but gestures that can save your life and the lives of your teammates. Now, I know sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's tempting to add an additional middle finger into our repertoire. But I would ask you to curb that temptation and behave professionally. Well, that's it. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. Dismissed.
Barricaded female, North Hollywood area, 339 Westcott Avenue. Shots fired, code 3.
This is Sergeant Pruitt with the LAPD. Lucy, if you can hear me, I want you to answer the telephone. We're here to help you. Please pick up the telephone and talk with me.
It's my wife, Lucy Long. She's holed up in the house. She won't come out, won't let me in. Like I told that other officer, she's been mixed up a lot lately. Ain't that so, Katie? This is my daughter, Katie. Go ahead, hon, you tell the officer.
My mom's always been real protective of our family, but it's different now. It's like she's not just protective, she's angry or paranoid or something. I don't know what. I think she's become dangerous. She has a gun now, and she shot at me and my dad this morning.
That's right, and she damn near killed us, too. See, yesterday, she threw me out of the house, hollering she weren't gonna let me back in. She locked all the doors. Neighbors across the street were looking. So I walked down to Katie's. She just lives in the apartments over on Maroa. So I spent the night there. This morning, Katie brung me back home. We was walking up to the house, and Lucy started shooting at us. That's when I called the police.
I understand, sir. We'd like for your wife to come out on her own so we can get her some help. But if she won't, and the possibility exists she might hurt herself, well, we might have to go in and get her. I was just briefing Mr. Long on the possibility that we might have to enter his home.
Mr. Long, our crisis negotiation team is currently on the telephone with your wife. There's some concern that she may be delusional. Now, I realize I've already asked you to explain the physical layout of your house and property, but in case we need to go in and get her, I want to make sure that we're prepared. Is there anything else that you can tell me about the house's layout?
Well, of course, you've seen the boards in the front windows. She's got all the windows boarded up like that.
Pup, see what you can learn from the Longs and Avers.
Excuse me.
How you doing? I'm Sergeant Pete Monroe. My partner, Officer Lewis, and I are the responding officers. When we arrived, we found Mr. Long quite agitated, and when questioned, he stated that as he and his daughter approached the residence, his wife opened the door and fired a .22 pistol at them. He said she fired 4 or 5 rounds, all misses. He then came across the street to Mr. Devon's residence and asked to use the phone. That's where the 911 call was placed.
And did you approach the residence?
Yes, we did. After speaking to Mr. Long and his daughter, we determined that Mrs. Long might not have any more ammo. As it was, both husband and daughter didn't even know Mrs. Long had a pistol until they were fired upon. I backed Officer Lewis as he approached the front door, and before he was halfway between the garage and the front door, the door opened a crack and the suspect fired twice, again both misses.
Then what happened?
And we called for backup. Sergeant Tipton, our field commander, assessed the situation, and that's when he called you guys. Sergeant Tipton's assisting your CNT boys.
Anything else?
That's about it.
Excuse me.
Hello, Bob Lewis, Hollywood Division. We've been called out here to the Longs before for domestic disputes. The husband calls us out, but refuses to press charges against his wife. We found him with bruises to his face and arms. When we questioned Mrs. Long in the past, she seemed off balance but never threatening. We referred them both to social services for counseling, but nothing's ever come of it.
Is this the first time a handgun's been used?
Yes. She's been worked up before when we've spoken to her, but she's never been violent when we've been here. Never heard her husband mention her threatening him with a handgun before either.
Anything else?
No. Just that I think she's really gone off the edge this time.
Hello, you must be the neighbor.
Yes, I'm Mr. Devon. I've been living across from the Longs for the last 10 years. When I first moved in, they were real nice. Showed me and my wife the neighborhood. Yeah, it hadn't been the same in the last few years. You know the wife, Lucy? She beats that old man real bad, all day long. You cops been out here. I'm getting to know you guys on a first-name basis.
Have you ever actually been inside the Long residence, Mr. Devon?
Not in a long time. Lucy boards it up bit by bit. She thinks some people are going to kill her. You know what I think? I think she's going to kill that old man, maybe herself.
What can you tell me about what happened here today? Did you hear any shots?
Yes, I heard the shots at the police officers. I saw the car. I knew it had to be the Longs. Then I heard the shots.
Is there anything else you can tell me, Mr. Devon?
Don't believe the old man. He'd tell you that his missus is holed up in that house. Won't come out. That's not the truth. I've seen her wandering around the yard at all times of the night and day. Half the time in some old nightgown.
Hey!
Hey, since this is your first time out, a little advice for you. Do as you're told.
Hey!
How you doing, pup? Don't worry about this one. Everything's gonna be fine. I was on the scout with Packmeyer and Rooker. There are limited ports of entry, and those that are there are pretty well boarded up. I think we have a captive audience. Who knows? Maybe she'll come out on her own.
Do barricade suspects usually come out on their own?
In this job, there is no usual. Every situation is different. Every resolution is different.
Anything else?
Watch my back, and I'll watch yours.
Excuse me, sir.
Did you speak with the neighbor?
Yes, sir.
Good. We'll be briefing in a few minutes. You can share the information you have at that time.
How you doing?
Okay, how you doing? This is your first call up, isn't it? Well, don't sweat it. Just do your job, no heroics.
When will we be deployed?
Soon. Rooker, Packmeyer, and Wexel have already scouted the property. They'll be placing us soon. So just try and relax. You know, the wait ain't nothing compared to the ride.
Hey, how you doing? This your first time out? You'll be all right. Just keep your eyes open for hazards.
Any other advice?
Yeah, watch my back.
Briefing!
The situation as we know it is this. We have a barricaded white female inside the residence. She's 64 years old and she suffers from various health maladies. She's diabetic and she suffers from a heart condition that requires the use of medication. CNT tells me she's delusional. She thinks the activity outside the house are gangbangers trying to break in. She's a shooter. Approach knowing she's armed and dangerous. This is the layout of the house. On side 1, we have a front door entrance. This is a dangerous approach as it has 2 windows to contend with. The large front window and a small kitchen window. To compensate for that, we've placed snipers here on this side of the street to watch those ports. Apparently, this house has been somewhat fortified over the years. The garage has been sealed off from the house. Side 3 has 1 opening, a barricaded window. While negotiations continue with the suspects, we're going to place an emergency assault team on side 1 for entry through opening 2. The emergency entry team will consist of the following: Rhea, scout; Denton, rear guard; Packmeyer, element lead. For rear containment, side 3, Pup and Wixel. Any questions? This is a soft probe. I want stealth movement. This changes only if the situation changes. Remember, all of you, just because the suspect is a female does not mean she's any less violent than a male. Just because she's 64 does not mean she's a sweet old lady. Approach this suspect with caution.
Did you have an opportunity to speak to the neighbor?
Yes, he said that Mrs. Long is a little more violent than what her husband would lead us to believe.
You and Denton are side 3, but be aware there's a lot of foliage back there, and you won't have the benefit of sniper coverage.
Sounds like the fat's in the fire. Line up for deployment. Let's go!
MP5s, full auto. Ready? Go! Packmeyer to 10 David. Suspect in control. Officers coming out.
Your training and hard work paid off today. We have our suspect in custody and no lives were lost. As with every call-up, Today's situation proved we can never truly know what a suspect will do or forecast how a situation will resolve. As we've learned, we can know our tactics, our jobs, and our mission. These are advantages we have. Today we had a few mistakes. I'm calling them mistakes as opposed to willful disregard of human life due to my generous nature. However, I'm not so generous as to allow undisciplined officers to jeopardize the safety of this element with flagrant acts. Pup, I'm placing you under probation status. Your actions in the field today could have resulted in fatal consequences. As it was, things worked out your way this time. Next time, you or your fellow officers may not be that lucky. I suggest you learn to work as a member of your element, pup. Learn to follow orders. Do the job you're assigned. The very lives of your element depend on it. Dismissed. I've been waiting for you. I'm lifting your probation status. I've spoken with the element, and they're willing to give you another chance. They think you have potential. Personally, I think the jury's still out. However, I'm willing to go with the team consensus. Just keep in mind I'm watching your every move. From this point forward, you're to adhere to the procedure and tactics of this platoon. If not, you're on patrol duty in the harbor area.
Hello, I'm JD Saunders. I bet you're the new guy from Rooker's squad.
Yeah, I'm
interested in learning to shoot. That's great, because I'm the odd man out. I'm the sniper without a partner.
Without a partner?
Yeah, all snipers are paired up. While one's on the rifle, the other one serves as an observer. You're interested in learning to sharpshoot. All right, come on, I'll show you around.
Colt .45 caliber 9 Robar SR-60 308 sniper rifle.
I'll show you the rifle. Go over it with you.
Thanks.
That's Sergeant Pruitt. He's in charge of sniper training. He'll tell you he's not a very good sharpshooter, but don't let that fool you. You don't ever want to be on the other side of his scope. Sergeant Pruitt, this is...
Yes, I know Rooker's new man. How are you, officer? Adjusting to D platoon, are you?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Very good. It would appear you have an interest in the science of sharpshooting. Why don't you let Saunders familiarize you with the SR-60? By the time you get set up, the rest of our sharpshooters should be here and we can begin our training drills.
Thank you, sir.
Me? I'm not really much of a sharpshooter. I'm really more fascinated by the science of it all. But these guys, they're top-notch. What are you waiting for, officer? Get on downrange and set up.
How you doing? I'm Danny Tello. You thinking about joining up with us? It's good. You can always use another good marksman around here. I thought you were interested in sniping. Why don't you head on down the way and get yourself set up? Saunders will show you the ropes. I thought you were interested in sniping. Why don't you head on down the way and get yourself set up? Saunders will show you the ropes.
Would you like to set up the SR-60? I'm ready. Just lead the way.
We'll set up down here.
Now, I don't know how much you know about sniping, but I'm going to begin with the basics. This is a Robar SR-60 308 bolt-action rifle. Here at LAPD, we zero our rifles at 100 yards. We always begin with a cold barrel shot. We use a cold barrel shot to establish our zero. It's also the most important shot out in the field. Now, first thing you're going to want to do is establish your zero on this rifle. You do that because it's new to you, it hasn't been used in a while. To do that, you want to get out your dope book. You want to establish the date, the time of day, wind direction, direction of light, temperature, also verify your ammo lot. You'll need to consult the charts in your dope book for any elevation or windage adjustments needed in order to make your 100-yard cold barrel shot and establish your zero. Now I'm going to load a single round for your cold barrel shot. You reload when you're ready to shoot your first group of 5. Now I'll be over here functioning as your spotter. I'll answer any questions you may have. Remember, your cold barrel shot will be taken at 100 yards, and you need to shoot a minute of angle. In layman's terms, you're going to want to place a shot in a 1-inch square at 100 yards. Target's already set up for you. Look, I realize it's a little foreign now, but it'll be fine. Go ahead, touch the rifle. Get right up on her. It'll be fine. Remember, keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to fire.
Barricaded female, North Hollywood area, 339 Westcott Avenue. Shots fired, code 3.
This is Sergeant Pruitt with the LAPD. Lucy, if you can hear me, I want you to answer the telephone. We're here to help you. Please pick up the telephone and talk with me.
We have a barricaded white female inside the residence. She's 64 years old and she suffers from various health maladies. She's diabetic and she's got a heart condition that requires the use of medication. Our negotiator tells me that she's delusional. She is armed and dangerous. She is a shooter. The layout of the house is as follows. Side 1, opening 2 is the front door. Complicating this approach are openings 1 and 3. Both opening 1 and 3 are barricaded but could be used to conceal the threat. To help eliminate this threat, we've placed snipers here on this side of the street to watch those ports. There's no access from the garage into the house. Opening 1 on side 3 is a barricaded window leading to the bedroom. While negotiations continue with the suspect, we're going to place an emergency assault team on side 1 for entry through opening 2. The emergency entry team will consist of the following: Carmichael, scout; Pup, rear guard; Packmeyer, element lead. For rear containment, side 3, Rhea and Wixel. Any questions?
You're covering Carmichael as rear guard, Pup. Make sure you squeeze up on him. Entering an unknown environment is unpredictable. Keep your eyes open for hazards.
This is a soft probe. I want stealth movement. This changes only if the situation changes. Sounds like the fat's in the fire. Line up for deployment. Let's go!
Sierra 1 reporting. Side 1 is clear of threat.
Hold. Ready to move. Move. Ready to open door. Ready to enter door. Go! Entry point clear. Trailer! Kitchen door! Pup, you cover Carmichael. Carmichael, pull back. Pup, move in. I'm covering you. Lucy? It's the police. Lucy, are you in here? Lucy! Pup, what is it? Lucy, we're the police. Keep your hands where we can see them. We're here to help you. We want you to come out. No one's going to...
All right, everyone, take a seat. Before I get started, Lieutenant Hancock has a few things to say. Sir?
Congratulations, officers. You did an excellent job today. Thanks to your efforts, we have our suspect in custody. Keep up the good work. Sergeant Rooker?
You men did a fine job out there today. Take pride in your efforts. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see a commendation or two headed this way. Well, that's it. Get some rest. Dismissed.